Hey beautiful friends, what's up? Welcome back to another no spend pantry meal idea video. Today I'm trying to do zero waste pantry meals, and I am so excited to share with you the recipes I've come up with to hopefully encourage you all or give you a new idea in your own kitchen. Funny enough, the day I was filming this video, I ran to Whole Foods and saw this sign, and it said the average person wastes about 290 pounds of food per year. Now, that's about a pound-ish, 3/4 of a pound of food every single day. That's a lot for me. But when I started kind of thinking outside of my own personal bubble, I was like, man, that's pretty possible, especially if you have little bits and bobs around your kitchen and you don't know what to do with them. Maybe they get tossed, or maybe you buy too much produce. Hey, it happens. I am not here to judge. It's just part of life. Waste happens. But my hope is always to encourage you all in hopes that you can come up with a new meal idea, or say, oh my gosh, I had something in my kitchen and this inspired me to use it. And one of the meals here today is completely zero waste, thanks to my friend Anywhere Nutrition over on Instagram. Make sure to check her out. She has a ton of awesome ideas when it comes to low waste or no waste, and she's always inspiring me. And one of today's recipes was 100% inspired by her, because maybe you're like me and you love smoothies, but you don't love washing the blender every single day. Let's get started. We have a ton of meals in today's video. I have so many wonderful low waste, no waste meals to share with you guys today. I'm pumped. I inspired myself. I'll talk about that in a little bit. We're starting with some chia seed pudding. Pantry items, I'm using chia seeds and almonds, and then I'm using up some almond milk, some frozen berries. I had maybe a cup and a half, a cup and a quarter left. If you're like me, let me know in the comments. A lot of times we have little bits and bobs we need to use up around the house. And sometimes when there's multiple people, a large family, those items don't get used because we're like, oh, we don't have enough to make an entire meal. And for my husband and myself, we don't mind eating different things. So I will put chia seed pudding in the fridge, or just a random single serving meal that either of us can take to work or enjoy after a workout, or even for dinner at night. We're totally okay to eat different things. And I'm really just hoping that this encourages you guys to use up things that you have, maybe give you some ideas, because a lot of times when you have those random bits and bobs around the house, it's like, oh my gosh, what do I even use 1 cup of berries for? You know, you can obviously put it in a smoothie, okay? That's not as hard. But even like having a cup of almond milk, or you're gonna see some really just random ingredients throughout this video, again, that I just hope to encourage you. I really like having chia seed pudding on hand. It's not something I make very often, but every time I do, I'm like, oh my gosh, total hit. And you can also add a scoop of vegan protein if you want to this, and just kind of amp up the calories and protein a little bit. Completely customizable to what you have on hand. The base is so simple, and I'm really just excited that I used up so many ingredients throughout this entire video. You'll see me here a lot on my channel. I buy a lot of frozen veggies because I think they taste the best. And oh my gosh, those 2 chickpeas got away from me, and they thought that they were going to hide behind my stove and make me move my stove and clean it. No, thank you, ma'am. I'm not doing that today. I'm getting you out of there, and successfully done. So 2 potatoes left over for us. It's not gonna make a meal. Like my husband will eat 2 potatoes, I'll eat 2 potatoes. So this was really just to kind of bulk up those potatoes. Like I said, I use a lot of frozen veggies because I think they taste the best. They pick them at peak, they pack them right away, they save for a long time. I don't have to worry about using up produce or how long it's been at the store, or how long it's been shipped. How many of you have picked up produce at your store thinking like, yeah, you picked up really good produce, and then literally the next day it's like gone bad? I will raise my hand. That has happened to us so many times because you just don't know how long it's been in the store, how long it's been shipped. You don't know the actual shelf life. You're just picking it based on looks, and a lot of times it doesn't really last that long. So I use canned, I use frozen, and I'm here to tell you it's totally okay. And a lot of times for things like leftover potatoes, leftover rice, leftover pasta, I can take some frozen out of my freezer and boom, use up things in my pantry. So the next thing I'm making is a 2-ingredient gluten-free bread. And I had some coconut milk yogurt that I needed to use up that actually expired 2 days from when I was making this video. But if I bake with it, I kind of extend that life a little bit. Plus I can always freeze my bread. The last time I shared a 2-ingredient bread, gluten-free bread just like this, yogurt and 1-in-1 gluten-free flour. That's it. You could, if you're not gluten-free, you can just use regular self-rising flour. I had so many comments of people being like, it's not cooked all the way, it's too moist, it's not gonna last that long. This bread is, 1, not meant to last long. 2, I actually make it a little extra moist because I am retoasting it, and I find the texture is perfection. Gluten-free bread products are already super dense. They're already drier than regular normal bread. So if I make it a little extra moist, retoasting it, it literally is like perfect. So if that's not your thing, you can find a different recipe, get on Pinterest, make your own, mix and match whatever ingredients you want. But this is how I like to do things. So it's usually equal parts yogurt to equal parts flour. But because I added a little over a cup of mango, I added a little extra flour because I know exactly the look I'm looking for with this dough. It's going to be sticky and it's going to come together in a ball really well. I don't really know how to explain it, but maybe you can see here with me mixing how it's looking. I know how things are supposed to look. I don't know how to explain how to get there sometimes. That's why I bake and I cook like not using measurements. I bake with my soul. I know that bothers so many people on the internet because people are wild and they are bothered by what other people do. I am not. But again, this bread just kind of comes together really, really quickly. If you're one who likes to measure things appropriately and, get your food scale out and go by grams, hi, I am not that person. I bake with my eyeballs. I cook with my eyeballs. I throw everything together and it turns out great for us. So anyways, I don't even knead it. I just kind of round it in a ball. Again, I know the feel it's supposed to be. I know the texture it's supposed to be. And then I bake it at 350 for about an hour, 15 minutes, hour and a half. You can bake it a little bit longer if you want to make it more done. But again, my purpose of this is not to take it right out of the oven and eat it. I find that it's much better with the gluten-free flour to toast it, and then you have a little bit more cooking time. And so you just pop it in a Dutch oven. If you don't have a Dutch oven, glass dish with a little bit of foil on the top should be just fine. I've baked so much bread that way. As long as you have the right texture, you should be good. And then just to cover it a little bit, cook it a little bit uncovered will help kind of cook the top a little bit more. I've never made this bread with fruit inside of it before. Like I've done it with raisins and cinnamon, never with fresh fruit, and I was pleasantly surprised with how it turned out. Here are all the ingredients I have used up so far. And I'm so happy to share this because all of these items did not go to waste, even though they were little bits and bobs. They were used up and I made some delicious meals with them. Originally, this video was just going to have the first 3 recipes, but I decided to share with you a couple more. I was super busy this week, so I didn't have a lot of time to film, but the next 2 recipes, they're awesome, and you'll see more ingredients that I used up in my kitchen. So I was spending less, so it creates more room in my budget using the items we already have on hand. Now, many of you might have a huge pantry stock. I personally do not. I don't like keeping a lot of food on hand. I like using what I have and repurchasing. I sometimes just absolutely love the random meals we come up with because they make me so happy because I'm using things up with 0 waste. Come along with me through a little pantry tour. I have shared bits of my pantry before, but I'm gonna share the whole thing. I'm doing a pantry redo video here very soon, but I love using recycled jars. That's my thing. I just love the way it looks. It kind of crazy, but also it just has a really cool vibe to me. So I use all different shapes and sizes. I have this beautiful Lazy Susan, which I can link down below. My friend got it for me as a move-in gift. I carry a lot of pantry stock for myself. Maybe for you, you're thinking, oh my gosh, this pantry's empty. But for me, it's perfect. And that's really all that matters, right? Is that we all live the way we want to live. So I'm taking out items that I want to use up, things that just have been sitting for multiple pantry videos, things that I'm like, you know what, there's like a half a cup of oat bran. There's these little packets of oatmeal that I got on sale. After I filmed a budget video, I went to the store and got more and found them on clearance. I have some berries. I have some strawberry tops. I have these dragon fruit packets. I go through and I find things like, okay, what has been sitting here for a while? What can I use up? What is something that will make the idea in my head come to life in a way? And I absolutely love the show Chopped on Food Network. So that's what I think of when I'm doing these types of videos. Like if you were in the Chopped, Food Network show and they gave you a basket and had 3 ingredients in it and then you had to go use pantry items. So in today's episode of Chopped, the ingredients I'm using are the dragon fruit packets, which I have had probably since we moved into this house. I don't like them. They taste like water. No matter what I add them to, it just doesn't taste good. So I finally found a way to make them taste good today. And then you saw the rest of the ingredients. We got talking about the dragon fruit and then I stopped naming the ingredients. If you've watched any of my videos, whether it's a budget video, a pantry video, I'm obsessed with energy bites, 2 ingredient cookies with banana and oats. It's usually a combo of 1 banana to about 1 cup of oats. But I had those little packets that I needed to use up. I ate so many of them, I felt like, because I got them on clearance, because I really loved them when I got them in like February or March, but now I'm like kind of tired of them and I wanted to find a way to use them up. So I use a little bit of agave with some bananas. You could totally use applesauce, sweet potatoes, squash, something else if you don't want bananas. Some people don't like them. Some people are allergic to them. You just need kind of like a mushy substance to start so you can kind of start adding substance to it and get a nice sticky dough. And I didn't measure anything. Like I said in the beginning of this video, I just kind of eyeball things. I know how things are supposed to look and supposed to feel. And I feel like that's how we should cook in our kitchens, but not everybody cooks like that. Some people really want rigid recipes. I don't do that. I just love to be in my kitchen and basically be a mad scientist. So I start with adding very little dry ingredients because you can always add a little bit more dry ingredients. And if in reality, if you needed to add more wet ingredients, you could add a little bit of nut milk or a little bit of water. But I also had that vanilla protein on hand and the expiration date has since passed. But I don't really follow like the best by dates. Let me know in the comments if you guys do. Sometimes if I'm like questioning an ingredient, I'll give it like a week. Like tofu, I'll give a week. But for the most part, if I open it and it smells okay, I usually just go with it. So that protein powder, it was fine. I didn't end up getting sick this week, so we're in the clear. And I know from my husband owning a supplement and nutrition store for so many years, you typically have a year to 2 years if it's not opened and you have about 6 months past the best by date because it's like pressurized and stuff, anyways, like the way it's dried. So I wasn't too worried about it, but these cookies were so good, so helpful in using up a lot of little things in my pantry. So I could get out some jars, empty them, and now I can buy some new ingredients and have space for it. Here is my zero waste smoothie. So obviously I don't like the dragon fruit packets. I could have just tossed them because they literally have no flavor, but I was determined to figure out a way to enjoy them. I think the pack came with 8, so I tried 6 different ways, didn't love it. Strawberry tops, always save them for my strawberries. I blow through them usually really quickly, but I'm gonna be honest with you, I love smoothies in the morning, don't like washing my blender every single morning. And I can't leave it sit. A lot of you are probably like, yeah, well then just leave it sit. I cannot do that. If there's a dish in the sink, it's really hard on me to let it sit, so I have to wash it. Look how beautiful this is. All those strawberry tops really amped up this flavor, so I could not taste the non-existent dragon fruit, so it was just very strawberry. And the protein was really a good additive, and I got this beautiful color. Now, I made these ahead. My friend Emily, Anywhere Nutrition, she will make a whole week's worth and then put them in her fridge. I got so many questions on Instagram when I shared this in my stories. Yes, you could freeze them, but they were perfect. I just took them out of my refrigerator each day. I had one this day, and then one the following day, and then one the third day, and shook them up because they did separate a little bit. The water kind of went to the bottom, you know, the fruit kind of floats to the top, or vice versa. I don't know. And I just shook it up, and it tasted just as good on day 3 as it did on day 1. And look at everything I used up. Those bananas obviously got used, strawberry tops. I used up so many ingredients in this video. No waste, y'all. Just using it up and saving some money. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching today's video. I hope you really enjoyed it. If you didn't check out my last video, my monthly reset, I will link it up here, and you can also click the arrow and it'll drop down all the videos that I'm linking and sharing with you guys today. You can also check down in the description box. I have tons of playlists of pantry meals, budget meals, cheap meals. I always have a ton to share with you, so if you are new, you can dig into my content a little bit. I'm always trying to share with you inexpensive, easy, low ingredient meals that your families will love, that you will love, that will hopefully save you some time and save you some money. But I will see you next Thursday in another meal video. So have an awesome week. Bye-bye.